So there we go. Welcome, final Sunday. And our conversation today will be on authenticity, because I feel as we all leave the COVID, before the second wave or something, I don't know what's happening. But that as we try to reflect on this 2-3 months we've had, if the goal is to be authentic, then we will be able to continue benefiting past this point. And also, I think the more authentic you are, the more your law of attraction is pretty good anyway. Or whatever we discover. Let's see what we discovered today on the topic of authenticity. So off the bat, when we say being authentic, what comes to mind for you guys? What does it mean to you? Top of your head. Anyone wants to share? Casey?
Being emotionally honest.
Okay, yeah, that's being emotionally honest. What else? Andy?
Being honest with others. So if you see someone behaving in what seems to be an incorrect way, standing up and saying something, having the nerve to do so, rather than hiding.
yeah, for sure. Thank you. What else? Anita?
Yeah, not censor myself.
Yeah, okay. Can you give an example?
Just like if I get angry, I'll just say, "Oh, I got angry now," and off I go.
That's right.
Yeah.
So freeing, like a 2-year-old or 3. Yeah. At least you have language. That's a 3-year-old. A 4-year-old can reason and logic with you and go, "Oh, he just won the argument." Dangerous age. What else does authenticity means to you? I see it. Yeah, Jill, go
ahead. Doing what brings you joy, like what you're supposed to be doing. Your gifts, I guess.
Okay, so being in your passion, being in your desire, yeah. I also see it as a way of expressing your uniqueness. Being authentic means being uniquely you. Whatever comes out of you is going to be that unique expression of your half soul. So that's another cool thing about it. What else is a benefit? We can talk about benefit. What are some of the problems with being authentic that makes us not be authentic?
So, hi, Dharm.
Hi, Sandy.
I think, first, I think for me, authenticity is what comes from the heart. It's not something that's like forced or I'm trying to be this or do that. Okay. But I think what might block it or prevent it is this, it's not being connected with your heart enough to recognize what is coming from the heart, right, and what is coming from the mind. So it's like not even recognizing what authenticity is to you.
What does it even mean?
Like what is it? Because we're in our mind so much, and our mind can play so many games. And then it's this judgment. Constantly just judging what comes or who you are or who you think you are.
So self-judgment.
Continue to push it down because what comes up may not be what you want to see.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Or what we were taught the world wants to see from us. So very good.
Right. What is right or good or
Because most 3-year-olds are not concerned about how they look to the world, but we're the one that then, push it down. You have to behave a certain way and not this other way. And I'm not condoning having tantrums all the time and disrupting. I'm just talking about authentic expression of your nature. What else do you see are problems with being authentic? Steph?
I've noticed that I'm not authentic in my expression when I'm deciding who I am with my mind.
Yeah.
Instead of exploring and asking questions like, what does my soul really want? It's a mental decision.
Yeah. Okay, we're making a really good connection here. It's like, I don't even know what that feels like. I don't even know what that authenticity is. I wouldn't know if I'm expressing it. How do I even recognize whether or not I'm expressing my authentic self? Okay. Yeah, that is a very good question. That is the place to start from the sound of it. Like, what does it even mean? How do I know I'm being authentic or not? It's a very good place to start. Okay, so what are some of the questions you would like to ask today about it? Steph?
What does it even feel like to be authentic?
Okay, really good question. Okay. What else would you like to know?
Can I be authentic without getting hurt?
No, so. No. So if we have a demand that people should treat us a certain way, if we're expressing ourselves, that's a demand. Because, people have free will. And of course, the more authentic you are, the more you're probably going to trigger other people who are not authentic and have grief about it inside of them, whether or not they're aware of it. So yeah, no.
Okay.
But if you know how to process your emotion, you're able to then forgive the hurtful reaction. That's the ultimate goal for me. Casey?
Can you show me examples where I've been authentic?
Beautiful question. Okay. Example of how I have been or are authentic. Example of how I have been or am being authentic in some ways right now. Lovely. What other questions do you want to ask? Ben?
What passions or desires do I have that are authentic?
Yeah, good questions. Yes, what passions do I have that are authentic? Okay. I love that. What else? Andy?
What are my blocks to authenticity?
What are your blocks, Andy? Yeah, thank you. And Andy, because we have two here.
Oh, sorry.
Andy and Sandy were on the same level and we had the same question.
Thank you. Okay, Steph.
We were all on the same train, but my question was the different focus of how does this damage my soul condition when I'm inauthentic?
Okay.
For a barometer of
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What is the cost of not being authentic? Okay. Excellent. Okay, we got a good set of questions to ask here. I love it. I love how you guys are beginning to form all the questions that drive the desire in the conversation with you guys. That's basically the kind of stuff you want to know. So I've made a list of questions and we've added some now. And whether or not we get to all of the questions here, at least you have the questions in the recording and then you can do them by yourself. So some of the questions was, what is authenticity? What are the benefits? What is the cost of not being authentic? Why do I not engage authenticity? What does it even feel like to be authentic? What are my blocks to it? Why did God create authenticity? Why did God require or create that in us? That, how do I phrase that? God wants us to be authentic. Why? You know, like that kind of question. What are some of my authentic qualities that I could focus on? What are some examples of how I have been or are authentic right now? What passion or desire do I have that are authentic? How can I develop these authentic qualities, and how can I discover more authentic qualities in myself? These are some of the list of questions. I'm just listing them all just so that it's all there at some part of this recording. But let's start with, what is authenticity? Why have God created authenticity? Let's just ask that way. I'm trying to ask, what do you want that, God? You know, why did you put that in us? But let's just ask that. So what is it? Why did God create authenticity? And what are the benefits of being authentic? Let's start with that. Okay. Okay. Some of us are back. I'm already feeling pretty fantastic just with the 3 questions. I'm already going, sign me up. Whatever other answers I'm going to get, I can't wait to get them. I want to be in this place all the time. Oh my goodness, this is so lovely. Okay, who wants to share? What'd you guys get? Steph? Look at that smile on your face.
I'm so excited. My guides basically just showed me that authenticity is really the same thing as living in your soul's true nature. So we've had many conversations about that. So I was like, oh gosh. So yeah, it's that sense of living in my soul's true nature, regardless of the shame, blame, hurt from others and my environment, that I'm unwilling to change because someone tells me they don't like my expression.
Yeah.
And that feeling of just feeling hurt about it, but like not changing. Yeah. Then God created this. It came to free will, allowing us to choose our true nature or not.
Lovely answer. Okay.
And yeah, and understanding that there's consequences to both sides of the spectrum. Like if you choose it or not, there's consequences, and it's up to me to decide what I do with my expression. Like it was a very interesting, like, parental lesson.
Yeah. Right.
Which continued into the benefits.
Okay.
Where it was that understanding that consequences include benefits and rewards, and it's my injury that stops me from understanding this word objectively. Benefits to living in my soul's true nature: it costs me less on a soul level. I'm being shown a bank account that like never ends. I'm debtless, but then I have like so much more love to give in that sense of being able to share the wealth. And it was a very invigorating feeling.
Yes, very invigorating. That's lovely. Okay, thank you. Who else wants to share? Andy?
Yeah, it's very similar to Stephanie. Authenticity is being the real God created you in that moment, especially when the situation seems challenging for your authenticity. The conscience is always present and will guide you to being authentic, while the facade self will try to get you to hide behind a lie or choose to do nothing.
Wow, you're definitely getting these messages, Andy, about doing nothing versus doing something. There's something going on there in your development right now. It's like, I got to do something. I can't be silent. So that's great. Okay, thank you.
And then God's designed universe has only authenticity, as he wishes only to be able to connect us to connect to him, her.
Okay.
This can only be done when authentic, real, when we are authentic and real. Non-authenticity is born out of human emotional injuries.
Yeah.
And then knowing yourself and creating a relationship with God, there is no greater reward available to humanity.
Wow. Well, yes. Okay. There's that plus. Thank you. Okay. Who else? Lynn?
I similar to both Andy and forgot her name.
Steph,
thank you. A desire to express our true self, our true longing, our soul's yearning, transparency, clear listening. That one really was interesting for me, because if we're authentic, then we're going to really be authentically listening as well.
Yes.
And hearing what's coming back to us.
Okay.
Telling the truth, emotional truth, expressing our creative gifts and passions. And as similar to what Stephanie was saying, it's part of free will. It's a channel whereby we can communicate with God and God can communicate with us. We can communicate clearly with one another.
Okay.
And then what are the benefits? We will know our pure potential and can choose to live it. And we have guidance on that.
Yeah. Wow, getting to our pure potential.
Yeah.
That's definitely a bag of gold in your own backyard. Okay, thank you. Wow, really good answers. Okay, and I like how potent all the answers are for each of you. You're really connecting to yourself now. So it's like my mission for teaching intuition is done. You guys are doing it. Love it. It's my belief that anyone can do this and should be doing this. So the next set of questions is, what is the cost of not being authentic? Why do I not engage authenticity? And what are my blocks to it?
Sorry, Dharm, what was the second one again?
Sure. Why do I not engage authenticity? Why am I not being authentic? Which may be similar to my blocks, but you never know, you may get different answers. So what is the cost of not being authentic? Why do I not engage or be authentic? And what are my blocks to it? Okay, so what is the cost of not being authentic? Why do I not engage it? And what are my blocks? Who wants to share? Andy?
The soul shrivels up like a dry prune when it is not being authentic.
Okay.
All growth is retarded and we are moving in a negative direction, which will require us to go over the same ground again as we connect to and see our error and then work to correct it. It's a whole lot easier to do the job right the first time and not need to correct yourself.
Okay.
And then lack of trust in God and her laws create the doubts that cause blocks to authenticity.
Okay.
Truth is always the best option, even when it causes momentary hurt for the other. Hurting the other is not the desire, but sometimes cannot be helped when we are authentic in our support to them.
Okay. Thank you. Does that have an impact on you, Andy, to make you go, whoa, I can't do that? Does it affect you?
I'm usually pretty good, I think, at being honest with people and telling people things, even though I know they're not going to want to hear it, but I generally ask their permission first, and then if they want to hear it, I'll tell them. Okay. So yeah, generally I'm pretty good.
Thank you. Sandy.
So the cost of not being authentic, pain, suffering, fear, and confusion.
Yeah.
Why don't I engage it? I don't know how.
Okay.
Or I don't relax enough or give it enough time to actually express.
Yeah, okay.
I'm scared it will tell me something different than what my mind or my ego actually wants to do.
Yeah.
And then what are my blocks? I don't trust myself. I'm always seeking answers from other people, from external sources, distractions, panic and anxiety, because they put you into doing things mode versus sitting and actually listening to yourself.
Yeah.
And again, it came up that when I hear a voice that is authentic, I doubt it because I feel like sometimes it doesn't align with my mind and what I think I should do, what is right. So the sense of doubt.
Okay. You could have some fun experimenting with that, because there's always a feedback you feel when you're being authentic that will help you start to discern, I had this feeling, I don't know if it's real or not, I'll act on it, assuming there's minimal damage on others and myself, and then see what it feels like, see what comes back. And then that way you start to experiment, and then you start to get what that feeling means. That takes time. But yeah, it's really good. Thank you. Who else? Casey?
Similar to Andy's prune answer. Basically, I'm making myself, my soul, small.
Yeah.
And kind of shriveling up. It inhibits me from connecting with my true parent and keeps me from true joy. Not really connecting with my soulmate either on the level that we were designed to.
Okay.
Why do I not engage authenticity? Approval addiction. I want to fit in. And then what are my blocks? The emotion is fear, and then I got a list of all the fears.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, of judgment, of disapproval, of shame, of being alone. And then one that I'm still trying to kind of understand and pinpoint, but it's come up twice in our sessions now. I feel like if I express my uniqueness, if I express myself, I'm taking away from somebody else.
Ooh, good one to feel about. Okay. Yeah. Not true, but good one to feel about.
Yeah.
It's like when you're accused of being selfish. When you're being your real self as a child, you're accused of being selfish, which means your being there has now done something to somebody else. How could you be so selfish? So, yeah. And then once you feel about how you were blamed for being selfish and grieve that, then and of course, if you're afraid of it, then that can be used as an emotional blackmail to stop you from expressing yourself. You just have to push on that button, no, you're feeling selfish, and then you're going to back away and not express yourself. Okay. I got an answer from the first part that feeds into the second part, which is about that it's a nourishing feeling. It's a full feeling when I'm authentic, and that when I'm not, I feel empty, disconnected, lonely, lethargic, and I feel like I need to get something from outside of me when actually I am the source of what I'm looking for. So there's this feeling of when I'm not authentic that I'm needy and gnawing, like I'm fighting for, grabbing for scrapes from others, not realizing that I have my own source. And that I'm angry and blaming God for lack in my life, for feeling impoverished, when actually it's because I'm not authentic, which gives me that feeling of sustenance and fullness and nourishment. It's actually a source of nourishment. So that was kind of a nice feelings to be aware of. I also got, the reason I don't engage it is that I really feel that I have to play my role first. First, you take care of others, and then you can feed yourself. It's a big thing that we have, especially as women. So, I mean, a woman that feeds herself first by caring for herself is seen as selfish. And other women will cut you down. And I deeply believe that I need to play a role when my very existence is already a gift. That was the answer I got. So my blocks are that it will trigger my feelings that no one will love me, and emptiness and loneliness. So those feelings will get triggered when I connect to my authenticity. And now I understand why those feelings get triggered. So I can embrace them more, that I get to grieve how lonely and empty I feel. Okay, anybody else got some good answers want to share? I mean, everyone got great answers, but anybody else want to share what they got? Hadip, yeah.
I got that the cost is I'm sad and drained,
yeah,
which is so true.
Yeah.
And why I do not engage in it is that then I have to face all that is not going well in my life. And what are my blocks is that I have to face all the other blocks. And that is really hard and painful to face.
Okay.
So that's my block to it itself.
So I would say that the block to work through is I feel it's too much pain. I feel it's too many issues. I feel it's too much and too big. So instead of tackling the blocks, just get through the feeling itself that I feel it's too much, it's too many things. I can't cope, or I'll never get to the bottom of it. It'll never end. It's one of those feelings. It's really nice to get through that. I felt through being overwhelmed at there's too many things. And then once I got through that, I suddenly start to go, well, let's get going. Pick one, let's go. Like it no longer, this feeling will keep, like a tsunami that just kept swamping me until I released the feeling itself. That I feel it's too much pain for me to work through. Just finish that off, yeah. Anita, you're backlit by the sun, so we can't see you. You're just a shadow. There you go, that's much better, thank you. Okay, so the next set of questions are, what does it feel like to be authentic? Let's ask for the feeling. And can I have example of when I have been or are authentic now? And what passion and desire do I have that are authentic? Okay. I hope we got some good clues. This is the juicy part. This is where you start to get a clue on what it feels like. So it's very difficult to describe what something feels like, but let's try. What did you guys get? Casey?
So I was shown my guide, Sarah,
okay.
In her authenticity, and I'm having a hard time describing it, but a hard time also understanding the feelings because it's far from where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But what I experienced is she's full of life and joy, and she's not just comfortable in herself, but she loves who she is.
Yes.
She loves who she is. She loves the qualities of God that she has.
Yes.
She loves how she expresses it. She loves her connection with people.
Yeah.
She feels peaceful, vibrant, sweet, and loving, and everything comes so easily.
Okay. Wow. Like, don't you want that, right? Put it on an IV. Hook me in.
I want a little bit of it, but I connected with the feeling that I don't feel that I deserve it.
Oh.
And I felt an attack from ancestral women in my family immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a big block there that I've got to work through.
Okay. I wonder if, as a woman, if we are feeling truly self-empowered, what kind of reaction we'll get from our environment.
Yeah.
So we'll get attacked. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. And then examples of how I'm being authentic.
Yes.
This is interesting. So I was shown a lot of when I'm with children and when I'm with babies.
Okay.
I'm engaging with the, like, who are you going to be? What are you going to like?
Yes.
What are you going to do? That curiosity. And then, and I don't understand this part that I felt, but there's something that happens when I'm being emotionally honest. When I'm in that space with a child, there's something that happens that stops them from engaging with the facade or engage with their parents' addictions, and then their true nature can come out.
Okay. So you have not just a curiosity, but a desire to foster or mentor or support or encourage or allow a person's true nature. So that desire is actually saying, come on out, right? See how it's feeling emotional for you? Yeah. And also you adore their true nature. And that's why they're able to let that go, because, hey, if somebody adores who we really are, we'll do more of it. So they're feeling the adoration, which I guess is what we're feeling from our guides and from God anyway. And so, like, what a beautiful thing to give to a child. And also what you pointed out earlier, that when you get to discover who you really are, you're actually really excited about who you really are. You think you won the jackpot because you have this quality inside of yourself that you're like, it is so fantastic that I have this quality. Like, oh my God, I'm so happy I have it. And you love and adore yourself for having it. Like that is what it feels like. So I'm glad you got to see that. And that is what it feels like. The few times I got some glimmers of my real nature, I felt like this is the coolest thing ever. I am so cool, is how I feel, without needing it to be, like at that time, I'm not invested in who has what, in what qualities other people have, but it does make me get excited about wanting you to discover that for yourself. So, and you have that towards children. That's beautiful. Okay, thank you. Isn't that lovely that you have that as a nature? Yeah, yeah. We should just take you to a playground and let you loose. Just emotionally project at the children, like they'll be all just getting these lovely feelings. Thank you. Okay, who else? Steph.
A little bit similar to Casey's.
Yeah.
But there was actually, like, for the first question, is there was a lot of grief that came up with the joy and love and like that innate sparkle within myself. And then I kind of stayed with, like, okay, that duality of grief and joy. And then I felt really sad to choose moving away from being this soft and gentle, humble, curious and compassionate person. So I kind of already got the wellspring of like all of the emotions.
So you felt that, eh? Did you feel that gentleness?
Yeah.
Score.
And
the summer project.
Right. And then getting into the examples, you know, sitting as a child peacefully in nature. Like, I loved to read out in the trees as a kid, and in that space I wasn't worried what everyone else was doing. I didn't care. I was just doing what I wanted to do with my time. And then, you know, cooking, like now in present, you know, cooking foods that I'm curious about, exploring flavors and textures. You know, there's that quality of singing, you know, from the other night in the fifth chakra that kind of showed up again. And then I guess my guides just really are kind of working with this contrast to help me wake up. So then I got into the judgment of what I'm wearing. Like, so when my mind starts judging when I'm wearing something, that means I'm dressing authentically.
Okay.
So they're kind of the little nudges of like when my mind, and it's specific, when it's not even like somebody else's projection, it's my mind judges the actions, the thoughts, how I share, what I read, study, learn.
Yeah.
That's the cue to go there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then when I got to like the passions and desires, I was like, okay, that's, and again, by contrast, it's, if I'm motivated by a should, it's not my true desire.
Okay.
And passion. And there was something really transformational that came, like, and this is where words were lost. Something really transformative that I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, can we get this into words? And it's something about me actually really enjoying and embracing change and that uncertainty of the unknown that I'm really excited and passionate about, that I need to start engaging more.
Yeah.
Another wellspring of questions came up for later this afternoon.
Okay. That's beautiful. It's like part of your authentic nature is you like to do new things to see what will happen. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Anita, do you want to share what you got? I'm really curious.
Yeah, I got this, what passions do I have that are authentic? It's like singing, gardening, digging out the truth, especially about authorities, government, and media. I love that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Did you get a feeling of what it feels like?
Maybe it's an addiction.
Okay, so you're gonna have to go verify it.
But I really love the truth when the truth comes out. It's a freeing feeling.
Yes.
It's feeling free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, then, I'd say that's authentic.
Yeah.
Okay. Challenge your doubts. When you start to feel doubts, create experiments to challenge your doubts. Actually use doubts as a clue that there's something here I need to go explore. And challenge it and question it and come to your own conclusions. Whenever you have doubts, I think that will really help you to really solidify your own assessment so that you're not giving your will away to have somebody else's feedback. So whenever you feel doubt, go check it out on purpose. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I got something from Jess. Just felt free like a leaf in a gentle breeze, floating without force or resistance, carried to where I'm meant to be, flow state and space for synchronicity. The only thing I will change to that, Jess, is carried to where I desire to be, is the only thing. And then, yes, once you have a desire, then you can just relax and you know that there's going to be a flow and you can be carried to wherever that is, that trust and faith you have in the flow. That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So.
Dharm?
Yes?
What if you don't have a desire? Like, what if you don't know? What if you're just like, you know what? Like, there just isn't anything that I feel like I want, like, I don't care how it goes. Like, I just kind of want to flow and let the universe take me. Is that like a good attitude, or is that like I don't know?
No.
Why not?
You're giving your will away, and you're not ever supposed to. You're always 100% responsible for what you're choosing to do. You can choose to let somebody else decide, but that's a choice. Right there is a desire. My desire is I'm going to let somebody else decide what I should or shouldn't be doing, but that is a desire. And we're designed to engage desires and live from desires. I recently visited a group of people that has passed. I got a spirit visit. These were a group of people that's been kind of trying to talk to me for a while now. And they were like I think they kind of knew each other, and they were all stuck in this place in the spirit world. It wasn't too bad. It was just kind of dusky and not very exciting. It was kind of plain. And I say, have you had guides come and tell you, give you a suggestion of what you should be doing, and they say, yeah, they want us to follow our desire. And they didn't want to. They didn't want to know what their desires were. And they were stuck in that place for a very long time. I didn't ask how long, but they couldn't move beyond a certain place in the spirit world because the guides are saying, you got to choose. And they're like, well, we don't want to engage our desire. Well, I'm going to stay here until you had enough. So then they had to work through why they don't know what their desires are and what happened to them in their early childhood, where their desires were heavily suppressed. You're supposed to do your duty. You're supposed to obey. I think it was the obey thing. You're supposed to obey, which shuts their desires to the point where after they passed, they were all stuck together in a kind of not a happy place. Like, I think they were pretty good people. Like, they had lived a good, beautiful life, but they didn't have desires, so they couldn't explore this beautiful new life they have now in the spirit world. Is that important? So, and they were following me. They were kind of watching me because they were curious to see how I have so much passion and freedom to kind of go in and out of spirit world and different spheres and the low spheres, not high ones. But I seem to have a lot of freedom, and I don't seem to be getting in trouble for it. So they were very curious, like, how are you getting away with this? What are you doing? Which was great. You know, their guides brought them to somebody that is doing passion and desire and is not being harmed for it, is actually benefiting. So your current desire is you don't want to act on your desire and you want somebody else to decide, or that usually when you are depressed and numb, you can't feel your desire. That's another place. If you can't feel your desire, it's because you're numb from a depression. So you got to work through, allow yourself to feel that depression and get into the anger and then the terror and your desires. A lot of people that start doing emotional processing at some point start to find very, very passionate desires. It's part of your healing journey to reconnect to that. So does some of the answers resonate for you?
Yeah. No, it definitely opens up things that I hadn't thought about. I think in a way I was looking at it as like, you know what, this is my way of trusting more. I just want to trust the universe to take me wherever it wants. But I think that might be a way of covering up some blocks and some facades that I feel.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of people and spirits that are happy to tell you what to do and take over your body and your energy and your emotions for their purposes. So, and that is not very healthy for them. That we let them do that to us is not good for them. So we should always engage our passion or engage the journey of figuring out what our passions are. And, you know, some cultures, we suppress passion and desire very, very strongly in very young children, especially cultures that wants obedience. If you want obedience in your children, you're not going to have them engage their passion. So that's something to grieve. I've basically been disowned, and whatever else I'm experiencing right now in my family is because I follow my passion to become a doctor. What a terrible thing to want. Like, you got disowned for it. Oh my God. Like, you know, how dare you? You're being selfish, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay, here I am. So, yeah. Okay. So let's ask the last bit of questions. I was thinking, what are some of my authentic qualities I could focus on? Like, let's ask, what do I have in me that are authentic? And how can I develop these qualities? It could be any of the qualities you've already experienced as an answer, or it could be something new you get in a new answer. And how can I discover more authentic qualities in myself? So, what are some of my authentic qualities I could focus on right now? How can I develop my authentic qualities? And how can I discover more authentic qualities? Okay, last round, last little push. All right, so the questions were, what are some of the authentic qualities I can focus on? How can I develop these qualities, and how can I discover more qualities? Who wants to share? Casey.
There was also a train going by, so I was like, finish. So being curious with children and babies,
Okay.
like even if I don't know them, just kind of practicing in public, like
Yes.
looking at the baby and, who are you?
Yes.
What do you like? That's just right. Asking those sorts of questions.
Yeah, you're actually projecting healing intention towards them.
Oh.
You're actually healing and helping because a child is receiving some love from somewhere, and it helps them to develop. It changes them in a certain way. Grace and I like to do this when we're in public. We see children and we go, what is the thing we like to ask? Oh yes, we ask God, can you give this child love? Can you give this baby some love? Can you just pour it into them? So we're praying on behalf, like, God, please give the child love. And the child will receive love. And we'll see the look on the child. We always see this look of like, suddenly the child will look like this, and then they'll turn and look at me. Like, just like that, a child will zoom in on me. And because they're getting some feelings that came on behalf of our prayer. Very powerful to do that for children. So absolutely, it's actually very healing. Maybe sometimes after you pass, you'll get to see all these children that come to you and say that one moment, that one pouring of love changed my soul in a certain way. Like, you never know what impact it has on others. It can be very overwhelming once you discover that later on. Yeah. So yeah, do something like that. Those are fun to do. Every children that come across my path,
just send them some love.
I just pray for them. Love them. Yeah.
Same thing actually with animals as well, because
Okay.
I have a connection with animals as well. So the same sort of thing, and then continue to ask questions with my guide Sarah, like the banter back and forth and ask questions. And then and also I'm being encouraged to work more with spirits as well.
Okay.
So those there's some authenticness in that, and they want me to keep working with that.
Okay.
How can I develop these qualities? The biggest answer that I got was pray for help, particularly to keep emotionally honest, because when I'm emotionally honest, there's that like protection around, and then also I can see clearer through the facades of spirits if I'm helping.
Okay. Okay.
And then how can I discover more? Again, be emotionally honest.
Okay.
At any time, and then play. I got a huge, like, in neon lighting, play, experiment, try to find the fun in everything.
Oh, wow.
Laundry. If it feels like a duty, try and find the fun in that and how it's actually an act of self-love.
Yes. Okay.
And not a duty.
Okay. Thank you. Beautiful. Who else? Does the mysterious Jill want to share? No. Okay. Who else got something? Brian?
Okay. This is along the line of what Andy was talking about.
Yep.
Emotional honesty. Asking people if they want me to give truthful, authentic feedback. So these are some ways.
Say, do you want to know my feelings about this? Would be another way of language, because the word feedback can go, whoa, can make it defensive. But then it could be that it's honest. But then, but basically at this point, we're just giving our feelings. Hopefully it's correct, but I'm just giving you my feelings about what I feel about it.
Yeah. yeah, rather than feedback being, you know, the only way it is. Stating my wishes, that's what I think what you're saying, my feelings for a situation or another, and allowing the other free will to be there no matter what, allowing their free will no matter what, which is sometimes with my children very painful and difficult. Allow my feelings to emerge moment to moment, ask questions about what does this mean, why am I feeling this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do that a lot, Brian. Like that's something you do have. You have that quality in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it mean? What is it feeling about? Where is it coming from? You have that. Yeah.
And I think when I was younger, I remember hearing from my parents, oh, your feelings again. Oh, you're in your, your feelings.
Wow.
Incredible that it was, that I was too much in my feelings.
Wow.
Ask questions, yes. Here, know where I am going, where I'm moving into when I'm feeling my feelings, whether I'm moving into facade or addiction because I feel shame or blame, or it's because I feel so uncomfortable. So perhaps catch those moments, or if I don't catch them, know them after.
Yeah.
Know when I'm feeling lost, empty, when I'm trying to get something from another person by controlling their thoughts, beliefs, or behavior.
Okay. That's really, really helpful to know what addictions you need to now not engage, to break down and challenge. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
And hear what doubts go on in my head, that I am nothing, not important, that no one cares. Feel them, cry, feel the despair that I'm feeling, and ask God, where are you?
Yeah.
Find my way back to connect to God and continue with my spirit guides. So work both ways. So find my way back.
Well, if you remember in our conversation yesterday, I'm working through the feeling, God, I can't feel you right now. Where are you?
Where are you?
Stay in that feeling to work it out. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Very specific answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Who else wants to share? Steph?
What do I have in me that's already authentic? A desire for God's love.
Okay.
There's this excitement about transformation, a faith that I will come through this and I won't die from it.
Okay.
There's a grace and compassion for my pain that I didn't know I had.
Okay.
And then what was the next one? How to develop what I already have. Keep processing and assessing for clarity of self-responsibility. Like that theme kept showing up of like deepening my understanding for self-responsibility, to help me stop accepting what I was blamed and forced to accept in order to belong.
Yes.
And that segued me right into being willing to not belong.
Yes.
And going into that pain and emotion.
Yeah.
And this continues to open me up to be free to explore and to be curious and find out more about my nature.
Okay.
Like there's a lot around like that rejection trauma.
Okay.
Of being willing to be myself and feeling hurt, even though no one will play with me if I'm me, and accepting that already happened.
Yeah. It's already happening. So yeah, good one. Thank you. Okay. Curious. So yeah, there's some good answers there around, well, be curious. What is my nature? Go on the journey of discovering. I don't know what my nature is. I don't know what my qualities are. How do I find out? That's fun to go on. Yeah. Because you are a finished product. You are half a soul of a finished product. You're already perfect. You're already complete. Nothing to improve on. You just have to discover it and then choose how to express it. So I got a very interesting answer to some of my question that's making me think this could change my nature quite a bit, actually, or make me become more me, in other words. It seems that as a child, I used to ask questions. I used to ask this being questions that turns out was God. But even as a little one, as a 3-year-old, I used to ask all these questions like, what's going on here? What is this? What is that? And I'm looking at trees or ants or something, and I'm having this dialogue with a being about what is this about, and why is it here, and why did you make it this way, and what's going on over here? And that was me hanging out with God. That was always there, and that's very, very beautiful to feel like, this thing that we feel so unworthy of, having a relationship with God. Well, we had them all the time as little kids. For some of us, if we have cultures that believed in God, and therefore it was normal for us to be open to this idea of God, I guess that allowed for the little child to have that interaction with God. So it was lovely. And then how to develop the authentic qualities. For me, it's about discovering why do I love God? Why do I love her creation? To be more intimate with God. And I felt this feeling of this intimacy and kind of like a union, almost a slight union feeling with God inside of me that was very intimate. So it's interesting that could be an option for me to develop. More qualities. When I get excited about things, for example, I have a passion of how do we practice medicine God's way? That's my big thing right now. And so when I get excited about it, then I start to develop experiments. It's like, how do you do that? How do I develop medicine in God? Do I write a textbook? Do I create programs? What do I need to heal in myself? Like, I'm off on a journey, and all of that is actually drawing out my unique qualities. Right there, more and more qualities are coming out. And now with what's going on with the civil rights movements triggered by the US, it's like I went to my first ever protest on Friday, and it was very, very peaceful. It was beautiful, empowering, peaceful, it was heartfelt. I had my opportunity to do lots of prayers. And my prayer there was, okay, God, if we are to uncolonize and release all this racial effect in my soul, I'm doing this God's way, which basically means to forgive everything. What does that look like? So I've already got another project going, and now that's going to trigger more of my authentic qualities. So it was kind of cool to know that I already get into these projects that really then brings on all these other aspects of my nature, to create the program, create the process. How will I teach it? What will it look like? What do I need to do in myself first? All of those passionate desires are triggering the authentic qualities inside of myself in order to make it happen. So engaging your passion very, very passionately really helps. If there's something out there that really calls to you, whether or not you get to go out there and have a big platform, the point is that it engages you and you start to think about it and feel about it and start to work on it within yourself first. So basically, I need to forgive in myself all of the effect that colonization and racism has had on me. And then I'd also absorbed racist qualities from my family. It's going to happen. You absorb it in your soul. So I got to repent for all those qualities. So as I heal all of that, then I get to be an agent of change for others. So that's the other fun process I'm on right now. And it's being triggered by powerlessness. I'm connecting to a feeling of powerlessness and how to release that from my soul. So hopefully that gives you some idea that when you get all riled up about stuff and get going, your true nature will start to express itself, or you start to develop them. So I got some answers today that are kind of disturbing me a little bit, because it suggests that I will be changing who I think I am in order to be authentic. Kind of curious. So Well, we've come to the end of this beautiful marathon. I'm very, very, very grateful to all of you. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And you've learned lots about what it means to do intuitive process, and that when you start it, you ask questions, you just engage it, and you may be wrong, you may not be getting right answers, and that's not the point. The point is to keep asking and asking, and the kind of questions you ask can help you get some clues to some answers.